I'll be using the Gibbs reflective model to reflect on my experience at the Juniper simulation suite. When we first got there, we were taking my cab into the briefing room, and here he explained to us just the purpose of our visit and the centre as a whole. After this, we were then taken to meet the resident, who explained to us some of his ADLs, IADLs and occupations, and the ones that he specifically had trouble with, and how the suite had been adapted and modified to help him perform these more successfully. After this, we then split into two groups, with one going into the kitchen and one going to the bathroom. From here, we went through with Cav how the bathroom had been adapted to help the resident. Some of these included handrails, non-slip mats, and a detachable shower head, all to make their experiences easier and safer. After this, we went back into the briefing room, and here Cav explained to us about occupational interviewing and what makes a good interview and what a successful interview. After this, we then observed Cav and a fellow student perform the interview with the resident, and then compared the two and then discussed their strengths and weaknesses. Going into this, I was feeling quite nervous and apprehensive because it's just a completely different experience that I had not experienced before. And after entering and then after talking about it with everybody and discussing what we're going to go through, my nerves just subsided, because looking back on it now, this is a situation which I'll be facing quite often in my work, so there was really no need to be nervous at all. But it was an extremely beneficial experience, because it was good to see how all the adaptations were made and how they were used, and how they were beneficial for the client or the resident. And it was good because I got a strong understanding of how different types of equipment and how you can implement that into the house or where the resident lives, and then get this perspective from the resident himself on how these adaptations have increased his participation in his occupation and activities, and how without them he wouldn't be able to do what he does. I learned a lot from observing the CAV other student interview, and then comparing the two, it gave me a real good gauge on where my interviewing skills need to be, and then to get them up to scratch, because after watching Cav do his, in conclusion, it was very beneficial, I believe, because I met the type of client that I will no doubt be in the future working with, and I sort of learned how to implement grading and adaptation things. And then I also learned how to better my interviewing skills, which was very beneficial for when I had to do my interview for my assignment. Looking back on it now, I wish I had participated in the actual interviewing process, as it would have been a very good learning curve and to receive constructive criticism. And in the future, I would definitely take the opportunity head on and put my hand up and participate.